Good evening and welcome to the Lincoln County Board of Education. We are meeting in regular session on Tuesday. Today's December the 16th, 2025 at 6 p.m. and we are at the central office here in Hamlin, West Virginia. This is a meeting of the Lincoln County Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the county school system's business. There's a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in agenda item public comments. This meeting is being live streamed and a video copy of the meeting will be on the board's website within 5 working days. At this time, I would ask Ms. McComas if she would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Takes us to agenda item 2, roll call. We have Board Member Mosteller, Board Member Burns, Board Member McComas, Board Member Cartwright, and myself, President Wilson, in attendance. Takes us to agenda item 3, public comment. I don't know that we had nobody signed in for public comment, so we'll move on to agenda item 4. This is our LSIC report from Duval, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Josh Barnett. Sir. Thank you.
All right, I'm super short, so let's make sure that's good. All right, so as you said, LSIC report for Duval PK8. Thank you all for letting me talk and listen to what I have to say. I was telling Ms. Stone earlier, I'm not very much of a bells and whistles kind of person, so I did the template here. I'm just going to talk to you about what's going on at Duval and what we're doing, the great things that we can talk about, and kind of go from there. I will say our LSIC team, we did have a family night scheduled for tonight until all the weather had occurred, so I had not asked them to join us tonight. They were going to do a Christmas family night, which was canceled, so they're not with us, but I do have my assistant principal, Ms. Cassie Stone. And, I'd like to thank her for coming to support Duval as well. So if we want to move directly into it, to the left here we have our enrollment. We have 27 professional staff members, 10 members of support staff, and then you have the breakdown there per grade level. As you can see, PK 3-1 is kind of lower this year. That luckily I think will be, fixed next school year when we have a new building and the schools come together. I will say we added 3 today. We enrolled 3 students today, so that number did change. That was as of this morning. Now it's went up by 3, so we're at 279. If you continue to fall down there, you see special education. One of the students that enrolled today is in special education, but we have 96 out of 276 as of this report, and that does include speech and gifted students as well. So that's roughly 35% special ed population. McKinney-Vento, so either doubled up, lives with grandparents, considered homeless. We do have a large population at Duval. That's 99 out of 276, 36% of students. A lot of that, the vast majority, is temporary living situations with grandparents. We've been going through that list with our CIS group and trying to make sure all that list is accurate because that is a very high number. We've had 21 suspensions, 189 discipline referrals, and 3 expulsions this year. I wanted to note that all 3 expulsions were battery against school employees, so all 3 were just students hitting staff members, and it's a shall at that point in policy 4373. So we don't like to do that. That's by far the most we've had in a year. It's just kind of how the year started. So, all right, and then as we see to the right here, we have the narrative of strategies to improve test scores. Basically, we talk about test scores a lot. I included here we want to improve academic achievement overall, not just test scores, but we're working to do both. We're using all the strategies provided by the county, such as the Ashlock strategies, corrective reading. In grades K through 5, we do 40 minutes a day with that, as well as our special education students in middle school. They all do the corrective reading program through the county. And then in middle school, we have a full class period each day for intervention that we're focusing on with math. I'll go more into that here on the next page in a second. And we've incorporated these strategies in our reading classes as well. So that's 90 minutes a day to help improve our reading. And then below we have our mission statement and vision statement. These have been kind of reworked this year to make them a little shorter. The mission statement comes from the Duval Pledge. All the students in our building can recite that, so we wanted to make sure that was part of our mission and vision here. If you want to flip the page, these are our strategic plan goals. We did make some changes, as I know all of you are aware. We were one of the schools identified as a CSI school for this year. Of course, as a staff, we took that kind of hard. Just to be completely transparent, over the last 3 years, we've grown in English proficiency, math proficiency, attendance, discipline. Everything has went up, but we were still added to that list. So that was a tough time for our staff to take that because we've been doing a lot of hard work and trying to push forward. So I explained to them that we're on the right path. Don't let this do something to slow you down. But that we did reevaluate some of our things, as per the CSI school guidelines. Some of that is what you'll see here. I've changed a few of our strategic plan goals. So from the end of last year when we do the strategic plan with the leadership team, some things have changed. So for example, we have a new leadership team. We established that when the CSI news came out. We took applications, Ms. Stone and I did, from all the staff members in the building, and we had some criteria we used to select a new leadership team. That way we could just try to make sure we're doing things the right way and we're using these leadership meetings effectively. So our goals are students will show a 5% growth in both mathematics and ELA. I put on here on the iReady diagnostic assessment and GSA. That way we can have data throughout the year, not just end of year. Sometimes it's kind of difficult to gauge what you're doing for the GSA when you're using iReady data. And then I've also put, we've reduced the amount of teacher discipline referrals by 10% from last school year to this school year. And we'll improve our attendance rate. That was the original goal, is to improve our attendance rate, but the state's very focused on chronic absenteeism, so we did go in and alter that goal to reflect chronic absenteeism. Some of our celebrations, you'll see, we can look at that at the end, but on the back I attached some data. Chronic absenteeism is improving by quite a bit. Our out-of-school suspensions are decreasing. Our write-ups are decreasing. Interventions showing academic growth. We now have 2 National Board Certified teachers who are also county mentors for the National Board Certification. That's Miss Olivia Dean and Miss Angie Stewart. And then this year we did start our CTE program, which Duval received a couple of grants through Project Lead the Way and the Gateway Grant through the state. And we're now doing a coding class, app creators type of thing. And the plan is to grow that over the next 3 years. So we have a grant for 3 years to add new classes each year and train staff members. We put our GSA data here below. As you see, in 23-24, we were 21% proficient in math, 25 in ELA. 24 and 25, we were right at 22% math, but I did round down on that, and 29% ELA. So we did grow in both of those areas over that year. We've had a lot of support from the central office. I want to make sure that I included that in here. So we worked a lot with Ms. Shortridge, who's our curriculum director. And she has helped meet with us and went over every student in our building and what kind of math deficiencies they have. As you can see, which I didn't include all 3 years, but math has been a little more stagnant in its growth than ELA has. And I was a former math teacher. That's my thing. That's what I like. So I want to make sure that doesn't continue. We want to grow that a little more quickly. So Ms. Jenny Shortridge and our team have been working with this middle school intervention period that we included in our master schedule to tackle specific deficiencies in math skills from our students. So it's not just students are bad at algebra, let's group them together and put them in an algebra class. It's more students are having trouble with one-step equations, let's focus on that. And we do it by the skill, not necessarily just the standard. And we've been seeing some good progress with that. I've also worked with Mr. Miller, our special ed director, and he's helped us add a co-taught special ed teacher that we desperately needed. As you see, we're 35% special ed, so that makes it very difficult. Anything over 30 in the classroom, you need to have a co-teacher, and the county has helped supply that. That way we have 2 people in a room co-teaching, working together. It's more beneficial for the students, and we're seeing a lot of good stuff with that as well. And it helps cut down on behavior. The more adults you can have in a room, it's going to help with classroom management. Our teams worked with Mr. Glancy to purchase programs, and formerly Mr. Gaines, that we need, such as like Magma Math. That's a math program we're using this year. He's also helped purchase SmartPass which is a hall monitor tracking system that really helps us keep track of where our students are at all times. That way we know. You can put in, it's a really good program if you don't know about it. You can put in restrictions where boyfriend and girlfriend can't be in the hallway at the same time during class, or two people that don't necessarily get along can't go to the bathroom at the same time. It's a great program, and I'm thankful the county has helped us implement that during my time here. And then, of course, I always have support from Mr. Barnett and Mr. Davis. You know, if there's something going on that I feel is an issue, I can go to both of them, and we work it out and try to do what's best for the kids. That's always the most important part. Below, we have PLCs and leadership team meetings. I have a schedule in the back on Figure B. As I stated earlier, we have a new leadership team, and we're working with Ms. Shortridge. She's our coach for the CSI situation, as well as the WVDE. One particular subgroup we've created is our attendance team, because we're focusing heavily on our chronic absenteeism. And we have made our art teacher, middle school art teacher, Mr. Corey Jones, has led that team, and he's done some great things. We've done some reward dances here for perfect attendance and things of that nature. And you'll see as we go on, our rates are much improved this year. In fact, while I'm talking about that, I'll take the time to ask you to, if you don't care to hop over to Figure A real quick in the back. If you just want to go down to the bottom, we'll look at attendance data. So we're focusing heavily on chronic absenteeism. 24-25 school year, at this time, we were at 38% chronic absenteeism. That is down to 33 on the Zoom website. That's a 5% decrease. But if you run the Weavis report today, it's 29.12. So it's even better than what we had there. So, I mean, that's definitely going in the right direction. That's part of, our goal. Mr. Jones, we have another meeting on Friday to discuss more possibilities for this attendance incentive. And, we had some backlash from the community that I did end up talking to some people, and we did alter it. Originally, we didn't allow any absences whatsoever, so doctor's excuses didn't count. We had a student had a death in the family, and morally, I felt bad not letting the kid participate because someone had passed away. So I talked to some community members, talked to Ms. Stone, and we changed that to where now, although doctor's excuses are included in chronic absenteeism, I wanted to do what's fair for the kids. So if the kid gets COVID or the flu or breaks their leg, they're still allowed to attend these programs. So we've still seen good success with that, but I did want to point that out, that originally that was not what we were doing, and we did ruffle some feathers that way. We stuck with it the first two times, and then I kind of just decided, is that a hill that I want to die on, or let's do what's best for the kids and not hold that against them. Let's see. If we stay on that page, we'll talk about real quick our assessment data. You can see ELA has trended upward. We went from 24 to 25 to 29 in the past 3 years. Math, like I said, it's not decreasing, but it's increasing slowly from 20% to 21 to almost 22. And then our discipline data, which I'm very happy about as a school. Our teachers have done a great job trying to keep down on discipline, referrals, and handling things in the classroom. We've done some PD on classroom management. And our 70-day average from last year, through the first 70 days, we had 228 write-ups and 51 days of OSS. And this year we have 189. That's a 17% decrease, and then a 58% decrease in OSS. We're down to 21 days. So we're doing a lot. As you can see, ISS has increased, but we're keeping the students in school, which is important. We want to make sure they're still here. And overall, I just feel like our team has done a great job with helping decrease some of these discipline referrals. All right, and then back to culture and climate of the school. I asked various staff members plus our LSIC team. They described it as much improved over the last few years. They did talk about consistency and how important that is. And when we started getting to work here at the board office, it was a new challenge for me. I came from West Hamlin Elementary and came over here a couple years ago, and it honestly looked a little bit like a correctional facility, was the joke that I made. Everything was beige and there was nothing on the walls, and immediately we started to make changes on that. So we have Duval signage now that has been put up. The county helped me. I asked for a Duval sign out front, and they made that happen, just to make it look more and feel more like a school. These kids deserve that, and I'm very thankful they're going to get a new school, but we're still here for a little bit longer, and we want to make sure that it feels like a school and that culture improves. And I think that's done some great things. Just that. It's amazing what posters and signs and things of that nature will do. we make the best of our situation. We've implemented Duval signage, I already said that, display student work, things like that. Our teachers do have high expectations, and our students can often rise to those challenges. So despite our circumstance, we're still showing improvement. Students are still pushing themselves, and we're very proud of that. Things we've asked for and received. We received a playground here at Duval. Like I said, when I arrived, we didn't have a playground. We had a fenced-in basketball hoop, which added to my correctional facility joke. But, it's things that the county has helped fix. And they took a situation that was impossible with a building that was, falling down, and did something really quickly here and made it a school, and it's just gotten better and better each year. So, I'm thankful for that. There were no middle school bells when I arrived. It was kind of chaotic. Every teacher followed a bell schedule, but they used their watch or their phone, so kids were just, so I worked with Mr. Torman and Mr. Spence, our technology department, and now we have bells for our middle schools. They go through the phones, so that's something that has really helped, again, more with the culture and expectations and all of that. We asked for a new exterior door by the middle school entrance because it was starting to rust and had some holes in it, and they fixed that for us. Special education co-teacher, like I mentioned, Mr. Miller and Mr. Davis, Mr. Barnett helped make that happen. Smart Pass, I already talked about. Vape detectors, that was another thing that wasn't installed here that I felt was needed, and that has reduced our vaping situation by, drastically. My first year here, we probably had a vape situation every other day, and now it's pretty rare. So I'm very thankful for those because they know that we get an alert as soon as somebody sneaks in the bathroom to try to do that. So they, it's really helped. It's really helped. Previously asked for and still needs attention. I asked this last year, and it's just more of a moot point at this time because we're getting a new facility and everything. But it'd be nice for Duval to have a full-time nurse. I've said that, for a long time. Unfortunately, I know it didn't used to be like that, but a lot of our kids are very needy and sick, and it helps when there's a nurse here, and splitting a nurse is difficult for a school sometimes. But we'll have a new clinic at the new building, and these students will have that available to them. So I think that's a moot point. And then I asked for more lighting out back in the rear. So some of the dark mornings, there's not a whole lot of lighting out back where the buses unload and stuff in that parking lot. And they've started working on that, but again, also that's mid-January of next year, won't matter anymore. But I didn't have much I could put on there. Like I said, I'm a pretty straight shooter. If we ask for something that's needed for kids, they normally get it done for us. So there's not much I needed to put on that section. Then next, I just listed some of our LSIC team members: Mary Milam, Dr. Rhonda Kersey, Ms. Stone, Deidre Toppings, Kelsey Brogan, Karen Stevens, Chris Hager, Lori Curry, Kennedy Weed, Angela Sansom, and then Todd Curry was our business partner. And student safety practices, I listed that we participate in regular fire drills, weather drills, active shooter drills, all the things required and to prepare our students for any type of issues. And I believe that's all I have for you. The two figures, like I said, I have some data for you there if you want to look over that. And then I have the leadership team meeting schedule. We meet bi-weekly from 3:10 to 4:30. Do y'all have any questions for me?
How do you think things are doing?
Overall, I'm happy with, we always want more, but, I've just seen, this is my third year here. I've seen a change in a lot of things. Culture's better, students are happier, discipline's better. I think overall, just each box has gotten better. Like I said, the CSI thing kind of took us by surprise. The state, CSI is the 15% of Title I schools or 5% of Title I schools, and they created a third category this year to get more schools in there, and Duval was listed on that third category. So despite our efforts, we were upset, but I wanted to make sure the team knew that we're doing what we're supposed to do. We're working hard. There's always room for improvement, but our foot's already on the gas pedal, and don't take it personally. I'll attend all these meetings. I'll take all the heat from all this. It'll be fine. And I think that helped because I was worried about how the morale would shift. When you change a bunch of stuff, which we've done, it's part of, my first year here, I tried not to change too much, but we did. We changed a whole lot. Ms. Stone and I got together and made a bunch of changes for our school. So it takes some time to get buy-in for that. Then you get buy-in, you do it with fidelity, and then you get some results that are positive, and then you get that thrown at you, and it can kind of throw you off the tracks. But I think we've done a good job at getting back together and understanding, like, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. We'll get some extra funding. everything's looking up. You know, these kids, these staff members, you know, regardless of who's the principal at the next school, they will have a new facility. They will have, everything will be looking up for them. So to answer that shortly, I think things are going really well. There's always room for improvement, but I think when you combine both the schools and get the community together, it's just going to continue to get better.
Looks like everything's going in the right direction. I think you are doing a good job. We know it's a challenge, you know, being displaced from regular school, but you guys have made the best of it. It's a bad situation. It was a bad situation, but hopefully your next report will be at your new building.
Yeah.
When
Thank
do
you.
When do you, what are they telling you about when you'll be able to go to that new building?
I think that new school right now, am I clear to say that?
Same thing they're telling us.
Yeah, it'll probably be January, February of next school year.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Let's hope.
yep, let's hope. And,
Yeah.
you know, the kids deserve that. Both schools have great staffs. I mean, again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but Duval staff goes above and beyond, despite the circumstance that you mentioned. I mean, they're all here. They could be elsewhere. They could have ran away
But they stayed.
They stayed, and they're persevering. They want to be in the new building, and they're here every day for our kids. So it's something I'm very grateful for. We haven't had too much turnover here, even with all the changes that were made. You know, I'm just proud of what they do every day. So very thankful for the staff.
That was a point that I was going to bring up, but it's been discussed quite a bit. But we, you know, on our agenda later this evening, we're creating positions for the Duval schools. So that's exciting news.
Mhm.
I think we've been in here since, what, 2022? So for 4 years. And you're right, I'm joking aside, but taking a correctional facility and turning it into a school, but really, I mean, you know, it's not easy, and there's been many challenges faced, but the culture and everything seems to be good. You know, we want scores to go up everywhere across the county, obviously, so, but those things will come. I do think maybe the attendance has definitely decreased because of the displacement of where we're at, so hopefully we get a new shiny building and things get back to where they're supposed to be. We'll see increases in that, and it's good stuff. But overall, the morale's better, it looks like. You know, decrease in discipline, that usually means that kids are enjoying where they're at, and I very much so agree with, you know, the signage for Duval and putting posters up and making it feel like a school. You invest in children, they understand, they see it.
Right.
And when they see it, they buy into it. So,
It becomes theirs.
yeah.
Absolutely.
It really does.
Yeah, and we've got great kids here that also have persevered through all of this. I
Yes,
mean,
they have.
we had a lot of students leave. A lot of families chose to go to other schools, which is understandable given the situation. You know, we want them all back, hopefully. But those who have stayed have stuck through this, like you said, since 2022. So they've grown up in a different circumstance than most, and they went through COVID. So we've got a lot of, you know, it's a different situation from when we were in school and how things went. So, you know, I'm proud of that every day that they've pushed through that. And
And the uncertainty for at least 3 years has seemed like, when is it ever gonna happen, you know?
Right,
And-
100%.
And now, there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe that'll help drive things forward, so.
I do too, for sure.
That's good. Anybody else have anything?
Thank you.
All right,
No,
thank you all.
thank you.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Be careful.
With that, it takes us to agenda item 5, approval of the minutes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll
Motion.
second.
Motion by Mr. Cartwright, second by Mrs. Burns. Mrs. Burns,
Yes.
Mr. Cartwright,
Yay.
Ms. McComas,
Yes.
Mr. Mostello. Yay. And Mr. Wilson is yay. That carries 5-0. Takes us to agenda item 6, consent. Looks like we've got items A through F. Give you a second to look those over.
Where does Mr. DeHaven teach?
West Hamlin Elementary.
West Hamlin Elementary. Is he our only person going?
Yes.
Will he probably share with the other music teachers and band directors when he comes back at some meeting?
Yes.
Okay,
They work together frequently, all of them do.
good.
So he also was able to come up with the money on our Explorer. Everything looks good there. Good deal.
Much to my chagrin.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Hey, that's something we.
Make a motion to approve
Op-
consent.
Operating costs. Motion by Mr. Cartwright,
I'll second it.
second by Ms. McComas. Mrs. Burns,
Yes.
Mr. Cartwright,
Yay.
Ms. McComas,
Yes.
Mr. Mostello, Mr. Wilson is yea, that carries 5-0. Takes us to agenda item 7, policies. These are going on 30-day review. There's 4 different policies, and if you haven't already seen them, they're in your packet on the left-hand side.
Make a motion, we approve the policies for 30-day review.
Motion by Mr. Mostello,
I'll second.
second by Mrs. Burns. Mrs. Burns,
Yes.
Mr. Cartwright,
Yay.
Ms. McComas,
Yes.
Mr. Mostello,
Yay.
and Mr. Wilson, yea, that carries 5-0. Takes us to agenda item 8, allowed and authorized payment of bills.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Cartwright, second by Mrs. Burns. Mrs. Burns,
Yes.
Mr. Cartwright,
Yay.
Ms. McComas,
Yes.
Mr. Mostello,
Yay.
Mr. Wilson is yea, that carries 5-0. Takes us to agenda item 9, financial requests for approval.
Make a motion, we approve the financial requests.
Motion by Mr. Mostello,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Cartwright. Mrs. Burns,
Yes.
Mr. Cartwright,
Yay.
sorry, Ms. McComas,
Yes.
Mr. Mostello,
Yay.
Mr. Wilson, yea, that carries 5-0. And takes us to agenda item 10, which is personnel, and direct your attention to the blue sheet behind the agenda. As I've already alluded to, it's nice to see the creation of all those new positions for the Duval School. Excited for that.
Now, I want to ask this question though, where we, for instance, if we go down to number 5, new Duval PK8 teacher in kindergarten, are we really going to have a new teacher, or is somebody, we're going to pick up?
You still have to create the position.
Okay, you have to create the position.
You have to create the position.
Okay,
Yeah, this isn't
so
hiring.
that's why we have all these new
Correct.
ones, but it'll probably be some of the ones that already,
Yeah,
Have
it
those
will be. It's
positions.
just that it's a new building, so you have to create the new
Okay.
position.
Yeah, this is nothing
Okay.
about hiring anybody, this
Right.
is just creating
Yes.
positions.
okay.
Just point of clarification under item B, Christopher Barnett is no relation.
Make a motion to approve personnel.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Cartwright, second by Ms. McComas. Mrs. Burns,
Yes.
Mr. Cartwright,
Yay.
Ms. McComas,
Yes.
Mr. Mostello.
Yay.
Mr. Wilson, yes, that carries 5-0. That takes us to agenda item 11, superintendent updates.
All right, I have a few things this evening. We just recently had an audit of our food service program, and it came back with 0 findings, and actually a commendation because of our supper program and how the fact that it's generating revenue for the county. I know in the past, the question was raised early on in the summer about the county kicking in funds for the food service program. That number's going to decrease exponentially because of the, Ms. Adkins' hard work and the fact that she's instituted this supper program, and it's just a win-win all the way around, and it has generated revenue. So I just want to give her kudos to that. She's worked hard in this position, and it has things have really. She's really done a good job in this food service position, and things have moved along very, very well. Talk a little bit about the LSIC projects. I know Board Member Cartwright brought up at the last meeting he'd like to have some updates on where we are as the LSICs present and their needs. I will tell you that Guyan Valley had asked for the man trap to be completed over there with the automatic door opener and things of that nature. That has been completed and is functional. We're waiting on a camera to come in so we can install a camera in that man trap. That's the only thing left to do on that, so all that is functional. West Hamlin, the material's been ordered for the gate that they asked for. Actually, the LCHS welding class is going to fabricate that. So that has been ordered and will be here soon, and we'll have that up and running. As to the sign, they asked for, remember they talked, the students presented about an electronic sign. We have a much higher quality sign that's currently at the Midway site. The Duval has a sign coming in the project, that's included in the project. So I asked if we could just wait and move that Midway sign down to the West Hamlin site, because it's a much higher quality product than the one that they were wanting to purchase. And it will last them a lot longer, and it's easier to program. It's you know, if you will, it's a Cadillac versus a, you know, Yugo. So as far as the sign goes, so they're on hold for that, but they will end up actually with that sign. All the electric and everything like that is going to be run to it in the spring, so it'll be ready to go. It's just a matter of putting it there, and then if their PTO wants to cooperate, they can get make it West Hamlin specific on top, the decorative part. But the actual sign will be good for them there. So then again, the gate will be there. Looking at Harts, they had asked for a new camera system. I've got our tech team working on that now. We'll probably have to do that in phases as technology money comes available. But they're working on now to see how we can do with the cameras to get those in. Lincoln County High School, their man trap will be started this week. Actually, we come out pretty well on that in terms of being able to get that done for the budget to match the budget for the grant I wrote. So we're going to have to contribute very little to get that whole project done, and it'll be started this week at Christmas break.
You think it'll be finished by the time school's out?
Most likely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Advertise about 2 or 3 times for that work.
Right.
They can get a bid.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
they basically allow us to piece it together with different contractors.
yeah, we have about 3 different contractors working on it. Yep.
You said it's a lot of block they have to.
Yeah, they have to cut out that's what's going on over Christmas break. They are cutting out a 3x3 section of block, and they have to put a lintel on top of it there because it's a load-bearing wall. So there's a lot of structural things they have to do to it. That's why that drove that cost on that part of the project up a little bit. And then there'll be glazing and bullet-resistant glass along the entire front of the building. And then we're changing the door hardware on the 2 sides of the building and changing where the staff will buzz in down on the other end, so that it'll make that one area only visitor entrance with that man trap there. So that'll be a good situation for them there. Let's see, that was West Hamlin, Lincoln County High School, Guyan Valley, Harts, and Duval was tonight. Well, that's it. So that's where we are at this point on those. So everything that's been asked is coming along very well. So
Great news.
just talk to you a little bit about our closing and delay in our NTI and accrued time schedule. We have currently used 6 of 10 days that we have before we have to start making things up. That being said, you know, we're on those days when the weather is crazy. Mr. Davis and I are communicating before 5 o'clock. I don't ask anybody to do anything I'm not willing to do, so I'm on the road driving most of the time by 4:15. And we're on the road, Mr. Davis is on the road on that end, I'm on the road on this end, and then Ms. Stone is on the road on the Allen Creek end to try to make determinations of where we are. And again, like I said before, a lot goes into those decisions. And, you know, this decision this morning, we did have a lot of buses that couldn't run this morning. But we also had a lot of children that have been out of school 5 days, and I'm concerned about feeding them and heating them. And I know that here, they can do both. So, but actually our attendance rate was pretty good today, all things considered. But those are decisions we just don't make by the seat of our pants. We're out, you know, we ask our bus drivers, they're the guys who have to drive, they're the boots on the ground that have to drive those buses. So, you know, if I have a seasoned bus driver telling me that, you know, I don't feel comfortable driving my bus on that road, we're not going to run it. You know, I always try to look at it in terms of, you know, if I take my least experienced driver, put him on the worst road, and put my grandchild on the bus, am I willing to do that? And that kind of helps me make that decision. So there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just, you know, it's not an easy task. And it unfortunately, we've had to do it a lot in the past few weeks. So Mr. Davis and I are both hoping that December is going to be our rough month.
Is that the same process that goes into like your extracurriculars?
It is. We look at that as well. We try to look at what our neighboring counties do too, because if we're playing a neighboring county and they don't allow it, then that just doesn't, and most of our counties do not, because we always try to talk to each other on that. You talking about for games?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, for practices, it's different. For practices, the voluntary practices, that, if a parent wants to bring their child out, that's on the
That's
parent.
up to them.
That's up to them to do so. And we make that voluntary so that if a child says, I can't get out my road, the coach doesn't say, well, you didn't come to this practice, so you're not playing.
Yeah.
Right.
So we try to make it to where, they have the opportunity to do that.
And I think it was it Kanawha County, I think we were talking to, and they talked about sometimes they would, not run a bus and allow parents to drive, and that's how they were letting, I just was wondering
Yeah.
because we're getting kinda
Close.
jumbled up in our schedules and
Yeah.
stuff right now.
Well, I also ask myself sometimes too, if it's too bad for me to cancel education,
But I mean,
That-
during the day, you'll have,
yeah.
when the sun comes out and things, but
Right. And sometimes that's true. Sometimes that's accurate. But then you gotta look at too, I mean, like I said, before we started looking at this, I guess this is not something I created here, this has been here. And, so I started asking other counties, what do you do? What do you do? And majority of our local counties do this, follow the same policy. They just don't allow for events to happen. Now, if the weather clears up, they can have a voluntary practice. So,
But it's not mandatory and everybody doesn't have to come.
that's correct.
Yeah,
It's up to the parent.
yes.
I think, I've made the comment to a lot of parents this week, from my perspective. So I'm 37 years old, almost as old as Mr. Wilson. And all my life, I can remember people griping about school closures. Either they're mad because they closed them,
Or they're bad because they
or they're
didn't.
mad because they didn't.
Yeah.
I may go out in a section of Route 10 where I live, look great, but that doesn't mean that
It
I
is
want to get on a
everywhere.
school bus and the head of Hearts
Yeah.
and come out. So you all are really in an impossible position.
Mhm.
You gotta make the right decision for the kids, and, hope you tick off less people than you did yesterday.
Yeah.
But I think in general, you guys do a good job.
I'll
Proactive.
take a beating every single day for a kid's safety.
Yes, that's exactly the way I feel too.
Well, that helps us, that's why I asked to be able to explain, because
Yeah.
they'll get, you get asked questions beyond the board.
Right.
You got kids playing, you've got a wife coach, you got different things.
Yeah.
And just need to know how to explain it. And
Right.
say, and they say, hey, how come Kanawha County's playing, or how come Putnam County's playing, and, we're not, Kanawha County said it's okay to play, but you're not gonna let them play, and so you just need to be able, I just need to be able to,
Right. Well, on the flip side of the coin, the other day, we had a situation, I can't remember what exactly it was, but it might have been a middle school game that we were open. Wayne County was not. Wayne County wouldn't let them play. So it's, you're throwing a dart to see who's gonna allow it and who's not.
Well, you've got the different places, the different, systems, and so you've got a lot into that on who's gonna play and who's not.
Yeah.
But if it's bad weather, every place, it's not so hard to make that decision.
That's all I had.
I was just thinking about creating the service personnel positions, on F for,
Let me get to the board.
Oh, okay.
You're welcome to do that, but
Okay.
after the superintendent updates, what takes us to agenda item 12. So, board member comments. So, Ms. Burns, go ahead.
okay, on that F part where it says do Duval PK custodian 205 days, 6 AM to 2 PM. Are we going to take into account the people who already hold those positions?
Each staff took a vote at each school, and the vote was to give preference
To those
to
people who already are in
the
those
buildings
positions?
of Midway and Duval. So they'll have the first options, and it'll be based on seniority.
Okay. I wondered how that would be.
So,
Sorry.
yeah, I know we've already been discussing school closures and things, but I wanted to wait till I got to the board member
Okay.
comment. But, the NTI days, that you said that we've already used 6 out of 10 days.
we use 3 NTI and 3 accrued.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got that, but,
Okay.
but but it was 6 out of 10,
Mhm.
and then anything after that, we gotta start making up. So
Right.
do the NTI days count against, or do we truly only get 5, and because of the NTI days, we have?
Correct.
A few more.
That's
Okay,
correct.
okay,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
so really, we only get 5 days, and then with the
Right,
NTI
I
days.
applied for
that-
NTI,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Now, we do have an opportunity moving forward, you know, let's hope it doesn't come to this, but there are some professional development days that we can convert back to instructional days. We did that last year. And we do have that opportunity for a couple there. But we're gonna, Mr. Davis and I are gonna think positive that, you know, December is gonna be our rough month.
Well, I'll think positive with you too. It don't usually turn out that way, so,
Yeah, you're right.
You could think that way.
yeah, but we'll be hopeful.
Yeah, I also grew up thinking positive I was gonna be 5'10". That didn't happen either, but, yeah.
But I do want to, and I know Mr. Cartwright already said this, but you know, making that decision isn't ever easy.
No,
But I don't recall seeing any school bus wrecks on the day that other people chose to go to school, so I appreciate that. And, you know, it's a tough decision either way.
Either way.
Is a
Yes,
tough
it is.
decision. But so far, you know,
but I think we ought to
Making-
err on the side of safety for the kids and the employees first of all, and then worry about everything else afterwards.
you know,
And I think that we've done that, and I appreciate that.
I agree.
I had a few things. First of all, thank you for the update on the LSIC. You followed up on that. The thing with the sign at West Hamlin, my only request, I think that's a better option, bringing that sign here with the better quality sign. It saves us money. We understand that. The adults in the room, make sure those kids understand that.
Sure.
Because a lot of those kids that made that presentation are in 5th grade, and they're gonna be transitioned out and won't see that sign next year. So maybe have the principals there, pull those kids in
And
and say,
talk
hey,
to them about
you
it.
guys got the ball rolling on this.
Yep.
and, give them props. for
That's
that.
a very
They
good
did
idea.
a really good job.
Yep.
And then the other thing I had, did you have a chance to talk to Ms. Tyree, in regards to your contract?
I did, and we are fine to discuss it, we are fine to do whatever negotiation that we want to do. Once we get that settled, we can contact her, she'll give us the language we need to put into it, and then it can actually go on the first agenda in January.
Okay. And I would ask, you guys, as you're doing the agenda for January 6th, is that right? Let's have that on the agenda, January 6th.
The first
to
meeting
discuss
of the
that.
month in January.
First meeting in January, yeah. That's all I've got.
Anybody else with comments?
I'd make a motion to enter executive session to take up employee discipline.
Motion by Mr. Cartwright,
I'll second it.
second by Ms. McComas to enter executive session. The time is 6:43. And that will be agenda items 13, employee discipline, and 14, student discipline.
Yes.
Mr. Cartwright,
Yay.
Ms. McComas,
Yes.
Mr. Mosteller,
Yay.
and Mr. Wilson is yea. That carries 5-0, and the time was 6:43.
Okay.
regular session.
Motion by Mr. Cartwright,
I'll second.
second by Mrs. Burns, to return to regular session. The time is 7:02. Mrs. Burns,
Yes.
Mr. Cartwright,
Yay.
Ms. McComas,
Yes.
Mr. Mosteller,
Yay.
Mr. Wilson is a yay. That carries 5-0. During executive session, there is no votes taken or decisions made. Agenda item 13 is employee discipline. Ratification of suspension of service employee.
I make a motion, we ratify the impose one-day suspension of service employee.
Motion by Mr. Mosteller,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Cartwright. To ratify the previously imposed one-day suspension, December 4th, 2025, without pay of a service employee. Mrs. Burns,
Yes.
Mr. Cartwright,
Yay.
Ms. McComas,
Yes.
Mr. Mosteller,
Yay.
and Mr. Wilson is yay. That carries 5-0. And the employee's name?
Shannon's.
That takes us to agenda item 14, student discipline. The superintendent recommends the board ratify the following student expulsions in accordance with West Virginia Code 18A-5-1A and 61-7-2, and West Virginia Department of Education Policy 4373. Students A and B shall be expelled from Lincoln County schools.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Cartwright,
I'll second it.
second by Ms. McComas. Mrs. Burns,
Yes.
Mr. Cartwright,
Yay.
Ms. McComas,
Yes.
Mr. Mosteller,
Yay.
and Mr. Wilson is a yay. That carries 5-0. Takes us to agenda item 15, which is adjourn until Tuesday, January 6, 2026 at 6 p.m. at the county office in Hamlin.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mrs. Burns,
I'll second.
seconded by Mr. Cartwright. Mrs. Burns,
Yes.
Mr. Cartwright,
Yay.
Ms. McComas,
Yes.
Mr. Mosteller,
Yay.
Mr. Wilson is a yay. That carries 5-0, and the time is 7:05.